Hi everybody, and welcome to Fitness and Fat Loss Secrets, episode number 19.
We got it, yeah.
Boom, 19 you guys. It's hard to believe we've been doing this for 19 straight weeks, but here we are. And thank you to all you that have been tuning in, and for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, welcome. And to let you know what this is all about, we try to answer one big question, and it's this. How do we lose weight while still feeling great without cheating by taking dangerous supplements, drugs, or undergoing surgeries that could really hurt us? And how do we sort through all the confusing information out there when it comes to how to eat and exercise for fat loss? So that's the big question, and we have the answers for you. So as you're tuning in, I'd ask you to do a couple of things. If while we're going through this, you're getting value out of this, I want you to like and share this so that we can spread the word. This is free information for you and for others to help them to lose weight. As you all are well aware, our country, we are in an epidemic when it comes to being overweight. About 67% today of our country is overweight. And so this is one tool that you all have that can help you and those that you love that are around you to change that, all right? So let's all do our part. And then the other thing I want to say is, as we're going along here today, if you have questions, I want you to ask them in the comment section below. You can also do them live to us. So like while we're here live, you can just write and we'll see the question at the bottom. We will either answer it live as we're going along, or I'll answer it in the comment section below, or we'll answer it in the next Fitness and Fat Loss Secrets episode, okay? So your questions are important, so please ask them. And I guess before we start, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Jay Altman, and this is
William Sather.
There you go. So feel free to ask either me, Jay, or William here your toughest questions so we can help you on your path. That said, William will share the format of the episode.
Yeah, definitely. So today we have our Fast Five, which is 5 questions as quick as possible, and Jay's going to condense them in 5 minutes, each of them. And then after that, I'm going to go through a little bit of a mental piece of your body movements. I've been doing this exercise with many people at our gym, and everyone has enjoyed it. It's enhanced their ability to work out. And then we'll go into one more 5-minute question, a little bit longer question for all of you that are non-members. And then we'll say goodbye. I'm not sure which way we have it, if it's non-members.
So Altman Fitness public pages here, and Altman members.
So we'll say goodbye to you
here
afterwards, and then we'll say hello again to you members for a bigger question that I know you guys will all enjoy hearing some more education on. So that being said, we can get going right away. And so today, I want you all to get an example of what it's like to have Jay or me or I for someone that's fighting for your goals. So in the Fast Five today, I get to be selfish. So this is fun. This is a good one for me, but it's also a good one for you too, to know that any question you'd ever have, Jay is capable of answering. Definitely is. So I have an outcome for my body.
Perfect.
I am playing amateur baseball this summer.
Yes.
And I want to be in the best, I want my physical body to be in the best environment for consistent success. Yes. When it comes to athletic performance around baseball. And baseball, I mean, you know what it is, but filling it in, it's a different than a lot of other sports where it's a lot of longevity. It's being able to go an entire season versus one game every weekend, like football would be, for example.
Yeah, which is more
my body
has to
like
real life. I mean, our bodies need to go.
Awesome. Yep.
Through our whole life, so we can not be injured and go on, right? So
exactly.
There'll be some similarities here.
Very much so. So that's awesome to hear. So I have some questions around that. I already feel I do know a lot of things, but I don't at the same time. I know for a fact that I don't know everything. So
let's start maybe at the top. You already heard William say, so step 1 for all of us, no matter what we're trying to do, is decide on what the heck do we want?
Right.
What do you want? William came to me, a lot of times I ask that question to people, and they're like they kind of don't know. So it's worthwhile to just figure out what it is that you want. William has an outcome. Yep. Do you want to say again your outcome out loud?
It's funny because that's going to be our longer question coming up after I do some movements, is how to help you develop your outcome. So that's good. My outcome is to put myself physically in the best environment for success for this next upcoming season of baseball. It's a little bit longer one, but
So if we got down to like one sentence, it would be how to be a great baseball player for an entire season. Does that get to it?
Simply put, yes.
Simply put?
Yep.
Kind of in a sentence. So, and I would ask you guys that same question out there, like, if you're coming up with some like really long answer, I would just ask you to, like, how would you say this in like one sentence or even like a word? If you can get it all the way down to a word, try that, and like, because it helps you to get clarity. Right. If your answer to because really this answer is to yourself. If the answer to yourself is a long answer, it gets confusing up here. And when we're not clear and we have any kind of confusion at all, if it just feels complex, then it's like our brains shut off and then we can't move forward. What will happen is you get paralyzed before you even get started because you just get the feeling of overwhelm. Anybody relate? Right. I think we've all felt what that feels like to have like, even more than one thing, but most of us have like so much going on inside here that you can't even think straight. Mm-hmm. So
mine would be best environment for baseball success.
Yeah, best environment for baseball success.
Because my chunking is in there, so I know what that means for me. I don't feel overwhelmed with that.
Perfect. So what that would equal for William, and I'm going to answer this fast, and I'll talk to him further off camera here. But what it's going to equal is a plan that throughout a year, William's going to need to chunk his year into a plan. Where the first phase of his plan, which is right now, because we're the farthest away from baseball season that we can get right now. Right. So we can't go backwards in time.
Exactly.
So right now we have to focus on anatomical adaptation. And what does that mean? That means we got to focus on things that are going to be imbalanced in William's bodies. What is his core strength related to his back strength? His quad strength versus his hamstring strength? What is his flexibility looking like? What is his left and right shoulders? What are those imbalances maybe look like? So we have to address these imbalances right now.
They're there.
And of course they're there, and they're going to be there for all of us. They're there for me, they're there for William. But what happens is in sport that we tend to do everything in one direction. William, you're right-handed, correct? Yeah. So as a right-hander, you're going to be dominantly turning to your left over and over and over. Whether you're swinging a bat, whether you're throwing a ball, everything is dominant here. So you get dominant in the obliques over here. So during the off season and during the anatomical adaptation phase, you have to address those imbalances. Yes. So we want to get your body as balanced as possible. Right. And then the next phase will be what would be called a hypertrophy phase. And a hypertrophy phase means we're going to try to add muscle to your frame anywhere that we need to add muscle. And we'll assess that, and so you'll know. And then the next phase, after you go through a hypertrophy phase, and depending on if someone needs to add a lot of muscle to their frame, we'd stay longer into that frame. You don't need to add that much muscle to your frame, so that will be a shorter phase for you. Right. And then we'll switch right into what's called a max strength phase. So we'll take the muscle that's already on your frame, and then we want to develop that so you can have the maximum amount of strength for the muscle that you currently have. Right. And then from there, what we want to do is we transition right into season, and during the season we go into a maintenance plan, and that maintenance plan will be we're going to try to maintain the level of strength that you've now gained leading up to that point. Right. And we'll need to we'll learn about your body in the anatomical adaptation phase, what imbalances are there, and what exercises will you need to do, once a week or so to keep yourself as balanced as possible so you can have the longevity throughout the season as you go along. So anyway, that's
everything you just said outline. There. I played college sports, football and baseball, and to know what you just said there would have been, it was there, but it wasn't given in the same articulation ability that you just said there. So that was awesome in 5 minutes, not even. So that's
now my next question to William. So I'm just going to keep building on this because we have the what, right? We have the what. We know what the outcome is, and we have a process to fulfill that what. Mm-hmm. Now my next question would be why? Why do you want to do this?
For me, it's to be congruent with all the coaching knowledge that I have. And be a display for others what is possible while still getting something the little boy in me wants, which wants to...
What would be the biggest why in there? What's the thing that's the biggest driver? The thing what's the reason you want this the most? If you can get as real as possible, what's
to be as real as possible, to do something for myself for once.
Perfect. I love that. And how would that make you feel if you got that why?
If I got that why,
if you did something for yourself for once,
something at a high level for once for myself, it'd be new to me. it'd be new to me. So I don't know how that would exactly feel, but I know it wouldn't be worse.
Yeah, good. You know what? So like this is really good. So you heard him like say what his why is. Now what I want to say for you out there, and I want to dig further with William with this one, and I'll do it off camera just for time's sake right here. But I want to press you guys out there listening. So that when you get your what, and you can get it down to one clear sentence, the next step is to get your why. And really dig deep. You got to get something that's really in you. And if you're not sure how to get that out, then come and talk to William or I, or find a coach that you can trust that's going to help bring that why out of you. Because this is what's going to happen, you guys. You're going to have your what, right? And then you're going to get a process that's going to help you get to your what. Now, along that path, what's going to happen is shit's going to get hard. It's going to get really hard. Things are not going to go right. Things are going to get tough. And when you come up to that moment, if your why is not big, guess what happens? You don't have any energy inside to push through.
Right.
If the why, and believe it or not, this is weird, but for whatever reason, we all will do more for somebody else than we actually will do for ourselves. So we want to find a reason why for ourselves, but we got to find a reason also why or how else that's going to serve someone else. Maybe it's your kids, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's clients, maybe it's coworker, whatever it is. But so you're going to find your why, and you're going to get deep, and you're going to do something for yourself. But you're also going to tie that why to why you're doing it for also somebody else. Because then you have even more power. You have more battery charge when you come up against that thing that gets hard. When you get to that hard place, like boom, I know I can do it because I got to do it for myself and I got to do it for them.
And it's the same.
And it's the same.
It's the same. It's easy to be split, in my mind at least, to be, it's either selfish or it's for the people. It's selfish for the people. It's very common in the self-help world. I mean, it's very common in the therapy.
These are simple concepts. You've probably heard some of these before, but what happens is people blow through them, blow by them without getting them actually really answered.
Right.
Without really getting these answered. And if you don't take your time in each step, you can know them, but if you don't take your time and really get them answered and get them answered in a real way, it's not going to work. What will happen is you'll get going. You'll say, oh, I went through the process.
Right.
And what happens a lot of times, people kind of either blow through the process, they don't really answer the questions, or they kind of do a half-assed job, and then they're left with a half-assed result because they don't have the energy when it gets to something hard again. So they don't have that big answer why.
Right.
And you really got to get to it. And so again, a major reason why for yourself and how that will make you feel, and a major reason why for somebody else. Now we got to move on to the next step.
Right.
So we have our what, we have the outcome, and we have the why.
Yep.
The next step is when. And when are you going to do this? Like, when are you going to get going?
Immediately.
And so it's immediately. So this is again a question you have to answer for yourselves, but as we're focused here on William, let's focus immediately. So immediately we have to get a plan for anatomical adaptation, and how is that going to get accomplished, right? We'll spend some time to develop that. And then
for time-wise, that's good to know. So that's our next part of it. Yep. And then for Fast 5, I mean, we're already over, but this is a good example. I mean, you were assuming questions, which is awesome. That's kind of what happens in a coaching session. Is the coach has enough intuition to know the questions before you even ask them. And if I felt that my questions weren't being answered or I weren't going in the right direction, I would have then said, "This is not what I wanted." But you were correct in all your assumptions. So therefore, I'll say we did more than 5 questions there. We did a lot more than 5 questions.
And I just want to add one last thing to that.
Yes,
the last thing I would add is to get leverage on yourself. Is for one, speak this out loud. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell the people that you know will hold you accountable. Tell your coaches.
Announce it to Facebook.
Announce it to Facebook. Say what your outcome is. You don't necessarily have to share your why. You can if you want. I would encourage you to if you can, because what happens when you share your why, it becomes so dang real deep inside you that you can't not take your actions as you move forward. And then you know your timing, and I would so that's the when part, and get your timing. When are you going to do this? And there's no time like the present, right? So it's always best to get started so you can create some momentum into your life. And then the last thing then would be to get leverage. Get leverage on yourself. And what I like to do is get leverage in 2 ways. As humans, we all seek to gain pleasure, and we also do actually more to avoid pain. So if you can have something like a reward for when you do what you have set out to do here, along the way, give yourself rewards and set up those rewards so that they can help you stay congruent on your path. So if you're trying to lose weight, don't reward yourself with a piece of cake or something. That's not congruent. It doesn't make sense. But what you can do is reward yourself, for example, with some money so you can buy the new clothes that you're going to need to have once you've shed some pounds down. Maybe there's some really cool new pair of pants or a new shirt or some new accessory that you're really after. And for you have to think about what the things that you're really after. Maybe it's a new baseball bat or some baseball glove that's like phenomenal. It's this thing that if you can take things to the next level, I want that. And then on the other side of that, you have to have some consequences, or what works best if you have consequences that are essentially punishments, things that would truly hurt, not just would be kind of painful, but like things that would truly hurt. And so we have to come up with that list too. And if you're having trouble, ask us below. I have a long list of things that I'd be happy to share with you that I've used with past clients to help them feel the pain so that they can move forward. All right? So we have the what, the why, the when, the how we talked about, and then also a leverage point. And then part of that leverage we talked about is going to tell it. Right? Okay, let's move.
Anyways, awesome. So that was about maybe about 15 minutes here or so that's okay. I still want to add this value to those you. We might just be going over a little bit. I'll be quick with it. So what I'd like to invite everyone to do, this is a cool little mind-body thing that I've been doing with a lot of members, and I want you guys that are out there to experience it. So what I want you to do is in front of you, you're going to have something that is about 5 pounds or so. There's got to be something around you. I'm finding some hand sanitizer. What we're going to do is you're going to be sitting down for this even. I'm just going to give myself, Jay's going crazy here. So what I want you to do, this is just to prove to yourself that you can be doing the same, to someone perceiving you doing an exercise, you can be doing something completely different internally when it comes to what muscles are firing. So what I do is typically I have you take something about 5 pounds or so, put it right in front of you, just normal like this, like so. Jay's got it. All right. What we're going to then do is close the cap first, and then we're going to move your wrist up and down. Nothing else. Up and down, and come to a pause. And where you pause, I want you to only use your wrist to support all of the weight going upwards. So you're fighting gravity with only the wrist. If you need to get back into using that muscle again, go up and down, then stop. You know that that's the muscle that you're using. Now, squeeze really, really hard this object. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Notice your forearms being engaged. So now only support that weight with the energy that's going downward with your forearm. Not your wrist anymore, your forearm. Okay, shake it out a little bit. Now move your whole arm up and down. Up and down, up and down. Come to a resting place and notice your shoulder was engaged, so stop with only your shoulder. Not using your wrist, relax your forearm. You might be automatically doing that. Relax and only use your shoulder to hold it up. Now that we've done this exercise, go back to, without moving, just using your wrist. If you can't do it, go up and down again and stop. Forearm, go to your forearm. And now go to your shoulder. To anybody, if this was on mute, they would have no idea that you were using different muscles each time you were going through that. So this is what happens a lot of times when you're lifting over time. I'm even guilty of it, is we use big muscles that we've been used to. So like push-ups, I have a strong back, I have strong areas here, but my wrists, for some reason, when I go to do jump ropes, on heavy ropes, my wrists are sore. Why is that? Well, I haven't been using my wrist at all when I pick up weights. When I do anything, my wrists are not active. So this is a simple exercise that can prove to you that there's something there. So therefore, when you lift, you can take an explorer's mentality rather than a zombie's mentality of just doing what the main muscle groups are saying. So that's kind of a quick little way I wanted to explain what happens. It's good. Just be mindful, and that's tools come up in that way. So that's.
If you guys watch it, if you didn't try that out right now, try it out, because it's like you could really feel the isolation in the different muscles.
And that's happening in everything you do every single part of the day. Is what pathways are. I like to call them rivers in a sense. What rivers have dried up for you, and which ones are getting all the flow. So we want to be overall healthy. We want to have flow everywhere. As simple as that, and the only way to do that is to start exploring see what rivers are dry for you or not. And the ab exercise we did was a great way we did it. If you didn't see those, check those out.
Episodes number 14 through 18.
Yeah. Those are great for sending the rivers down to your core. And I've already seen great results. I'm going to be I think I'll have a first time in my life a six-pack within, I said a couple of weeks last week, and it's getting even closer right now. Just because every move I've been doing when I work out, I just got done working out today, and I was doing box jumps, and I noticed my core was engaged when I did it, and I wasn't thinking about it. It was just happening.
Perfect.
So that's exactly where we want to be.
All right, guys, I think we need to wrap up for at least the Altman
Yeah.
Fitness crowd. So I want to say thank you to all you guys watching over here. And remember that every Wednesday at 10:45, we're live here for you to answer your questions when it comes to fitness and fat loss. Now, there is an exception because next week, between Christmas and New Year's, we're taking a week off, and I hope maybe you can too. So you have that week off. And we'll resume back in 2018 on January 3rd. But starting January 3rd and moving forward, again, every Wednesday at 10:45, we'll be live right here to answer your most pressing questions. So again, I want to say thank you to all of you out there in Altman Fitness Land. We'll be answering one more question over here for you guys, the Altman Bootcamp members, which is going to be how to quit junk food. And we're going to give you the step-by-step process to make that happen. But for now, thank you, I love you, and take care over here, and we'll see you next time.